Hey, this is Paul with ConvertingCopy.com, and today we're going to be talking about the best free WordPress plugins for 2019. We're in the new year, so it's time to yet again take a look at the most essential and best free WordPress plugins for 2019, which you should have stocked for the new year. Again, these are all free plugins which will both improve your site's functionality for you, your website's visitors, and the search engines. So without further ado, let's look at the best free WordPress plugins for 2019. We start things off with W3 Total Cache. Now I mentioned some type of caching plugin every year for good reason. These plugins create saved or cached versions of your website on your server, thus saving the need to constantly load fresh from the database each time someone visits your website. Most of the files on your website are static and do not change. Consequently, they rarely need to get refreshed on the server end, so caching plugins regulate how often certain file types need to be refreshed. For the static files, this works out to be very infrequently. The net result of this is that it cuts down on load time, which search engines love. Now, for a lot more tips on this, you can check out my recent article on how to speed up your website, which I will link to in the description of this video. In the past, I've recommended WP Super Cache because of its simplicity. In my mind, that and this, the W3 Total Cache, are typically the two best free caching plugins for WordPress. The only real difference is that W3 gives you a lot more functionality. It's arguably the single most effective free caching plugin for improving your website's experience for your visitors because it substantially reduces site load time. You can link it and pair it with a content delivery network or a CDN for better load time as well. Now we move on to the optimized database after deleting revisions. ODDR, it's a nice spring cleaning plugin which removes older versions of posts which are hanging around but you probably don't need. This can clear up a lot of database room if, like me, you have maybe dozens of old revisions for many of your posts just taking up a lot of space. The plugin also removes items listed as trash and spam completely as well, and it's all one click, automated, simple to boot. Akismet, let's not waste time covering this one. It's free and comes preloaded with WordPress in order to remove spammy comments, so you don't have to bother with them. You simply have to activate your free license with it and you're good to go. It handles all your spam for you. Yoast SEO. Yoast SEO makes a great deal of your on-page/on-site SEO set and forget easy. You identify to the plugin your target or focus keyword for whichever page or post you're targeting and creating, I should say. And Yoast SEO will tell you how you can better use that keyword/variations of your keyword in your content. Now I highlight variations of your keyword to link to my LSI keywords page article, which I will also link to in the description of this video. Beyond that, the plugin tells you how good your content for any given page is in general. This includes real-time content scores, which reward you for less run-on sentences and more readable content in general, as well as breaking up text with the occasional image or video link. The keyword research process, again, note the link in the description, is still up to you, but Yoast SEO gives you peace of mind that once you have that perfect keyword, that your content will be well optimized for both your visitors and the search engines. Now we'll talk about EWWW Images, an image optimizer. You'll note that optimization speed is an ongoing theme in this best free plugins of 2019 resource. Now whether you optimize your images ahead of time or not, EWWW Images compresses/optimizes your images further without affecting the visible quality, saving you space on your server and further reducing load time. Simple as that. The plugin optimizes images both as you upload new ones, as well as giving you the option to retroactively optimize every existing image on your site with just a couple clicks of the mouse. Now this could be a godsend if you have a huge content site like Converting Copy, for example, with hundreds or even thousands of existing images which could be optimized. Now we move on to Pretty Links. This is a plugin which I've recommended many times in the past, and Pretty Links is just that. It makes your links much more attractive. So a link with lots of random gibberish, tags, code, can instead just be one or two words, making it much cleaner and more attractive. This is ideal for longer, uglier links, as with affiliate codes, which involve a lot of random code. So if you're recommending a CDN provider and using the affiliate code they gave you, you can just use the URL yourdomain.com/CDN rather than the ugly, hoppy affiliate code they give you, and point that pretty link of CDN to that affiliate code. So it's a lot easier for not only people to click on, I mean, it looks better, but they can also remember these links much more easily as well in the future. So it's also ideal for affiliate links or any link which you might switch out semi-regularly, giving you a great deal of time saved. So in keeping with that same CDN example, let's say you use yourdomain.com/CDN link whenever recommending that CDN service, you link to them, multiple times on various pages. But maybe one day you find a better option and you want to update your links accordingly and share this new, better option with your viewers. So with Pretty Links, you could just change where that Pretty Link redirects with your new affiliate code, saving you a great deal of time searching down every instance in which you affiliate linked to a CDN. In this case, you would just have to swap out the relevant information around those links to reflect your new CDN choice. So it's going to save you a ton of time. All right, Jetpack. I admit Jetpack is a bit of a... There's a lot of arguments that go back and forth, to say the least, when it comes to Jetpack. I fully acknowledge that Jetpack, it's a free multi-purpose plugin from the creators of WordPress, which extends the functionality of the content management system in many ways. It divides audiences, and admittedly, it's not for everyone. The major criticism is that it's bloated in an age when website load speed is king, something I've talked about all throughout this video so far. This is a fair criticism, though, given that it's one of the larger plugins out there, almost out of necessity, at all the things which it can do. I will say that you could shut down many of its modules, which are sort of sub-plugins or sub-components of the plugin, which you don't use to minimize its bloat effect to a degree, but the sheer number of useful things it can do for it can do for you make it worth a mention here. And these free features include security. Now, Jetpack provides security for your WordPress-based site in a number of different ways. It blocks IP addresses which attempt to brute force log into your account. If you don't use Jetpack for this, then I recommend using Login Lockdown, a standalone which does the same thing. So if any hackers just try to throw thousands of password combinations at your login URL, this will basically shut them down after 3 or 4 attempts. It also automatically updates plugins for your website when they become eligible, which is handy as, outdated plugins is one of the main ways hackers can find backdoor vulnerabilities to your website. So it's nice to have this handle it for you without you having to log in and update it regularly, especially if you have a website which you maybe don't log in and, change the content of that frequently. So it's kind of set and forget in that sense. And then also, downtime monitoring alerts you if your site is ever down. I personally have a lot of websites, some of which, admittedly, like I just said, I don't check in with a whole lot of regularity. It can be a long time before you know that your site is down if you're not paying attention to the site itself or your analytics. So the security kind of component of Jetpack will let you know anytime your site is down, and that is a huge, huge benefit to have. Then we have related posts. Pretty self-explanatory, but it's another component of the free plugin. The related post feature lists relevant posts around every post of your site when it's turned on. So, some themes let you do this as a built-in feature, such as the one that I'm using right now. But if you don't use Jetpack for this or your theme, you can use one of the many free related post plugins out there to keep people on your website, which improves on your user metrics in the process. Something I've talked about in the past, and I will link to in the description as well. So check that out to improve your search engine ranking by paying attention to your user metrics. Then we move on to sharing, another component of Jetpack. I like this one a lot. It makes it easy to pick and choose which social network buttons you want on your site to encourage people to share your content or connect with you on your satellite social presences like Twitter, Facebook, etc. Many themes have this built-in functionality these days, but again, if you don't have your theme or Jetpack for this, you should check out one of the many free share button plugins which are out there. All right, social network auto posting, something I also really love. Every time you post to your website, your connected social networks of your choosing are automatically updated with a link to the post when you use this component of Jetpack. This helps to give you the appearance of a frequently tended to and updated social presence without having to actually sign into any of these sites. And then SNAP Snap is a good free alternative if you don't happen to use Jetpack. But again, I recommend something to update all of your social media sites. So every time you're updating your blog, your website, these sites get updated as well. And it brings in extra traffic back to your website as an added bonus. So consider that. And then the widgets. Jetpack gives you extra functionality in terms of the options of widgets you have access to as well. A few examples are the post widget. I like a lot because it allows you to feature up to 10 posts from another WordPress-based site. So you can feature great posts from another one of either your sites or maybe a friend webmaster's websites to kind of spread some traffic around back and forth if they're doing it as well. Contact info, another useful widget, particularly if you have like a business-based site, especially like a brick and mortar site. Or even a web-based site. You can list your phone number, hours, even an interactive map to show your location and give directions, all in kind of the, wherever you might display widgets on your website. So clearly visible business information right there with just this little widget by virtue of Jetpack. And then lastly, there are specific widgets for each social network, so you can better feature any particular social networks you like in the widget section of your site. That's just a quick overview of a few of the widgets which I like. But anyway, getting back to it, analytics. You can even get some basic traffic stats for your site from another built-in module in Jetpack. So if you're not using Google Analytics Dashboard for WordPress or Google Analytics in general, you can get a sense of how your site is doing from Jetpack's pulled stats. Now, I just mentioned more than half a dozen individual plugins which it takes to get the same experience as with Jetpack. And that's just a sampling of the things which it can do. Now, it's up to you to decide whether or not Jetpack is worth it for you. I use it on some of my sites. I don't use it on others. So, it's up to you, but it's certainly one to consider in the new year as they continue to refine the Swiss Army knife of a plugin. And then lastly, in case anything ever goes wrong, the back dip UP up, back... that's a typo, actually. It should be back WP up. I'm reading from the description on the right, but yeah, back WordPress up is the plugin, and it can be used to restore one of its automated backups to get your site back to where it was when things worked without losing anything. Now, by default, you get weekly backups for the last 3 months, so you have a dozen options if you ever need to go back in case anything goes wrong with your site, whether it's your fault or somebody else's. This is essential if you, ever delete something without meaning to, or like I said, more than likely someone hacks your website. It's worth mentioning, Jetpack has a backup feature, but it's part of a paid plan, as Jetpack has some premium features in addition to the many useful free ones. In summary, sure, there are probably a handful of other plugins which you may need depending on the specific scope and needs of your WordPress run site. But these free WordPress plugins are the best 2019 has to offer, which virtually any webmaster can benefit from. And lastly, SEO in 2019. Don't forget to check out my complete article on SEO in 2019. Link is in the description for information on the latest evergreen tactics and ranking in 2019. All right, I'm Paul with convertingcopy.com. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe for more tip and tutorial videos. And I'll see you next time. Thank you again for watching.